Good morning, everybody. Just left Bascom Lodge and starting my hike from here. It's a little cooler today. I got the jacket on. I'm wearing long pants. Hadn't done that in a while. We're in the high 40s, I think. The good news is all that heavy wind that we were experiencing yesterday, we were up in the tower, has stopped. So that's a good thing, or it would be brutal out here today for sure. So we got a pretty good hike today planned. It's 15.7 miles. It's almost 16. I'll probably round up to 16. And targeting a shelter. The challenge for today is going to be, first of all, we're going to go downhill for about 6 miles. And then we're going to go uphill for about 10 miles. So the uphill for about 10 miles is the biggest challenge. The secondary challenge is we're going to a new shelter. That's great. But there's really no water nearby that shelter. There is a questionable water source, which is about 2 miles before you get to the shelter. We're going to cross fingers and hopefully the water's flowing. And if it is flowing, then we'll just carry water up to that shelter. So there's a few things, concerning things and challenging things we're going to have to worry about, but that's pretty much every day. So beautiful view out here. And should be an awesome day. Let's go get her done. Haven't gone far, folks. Just came to a spot that's got a little bit better view. Skies, all different colors. All right, everybody, we are still making our way. I know this looks flat, but we are just kind of leveled it off. We're still headed downhill a little bit from the summit of Mount Greylock. We're probably 3 miles off the summit now, and I know we've got about 3 more before we start our climb up. So there's probably still some downhill yet to be had. But right now we got flat and we're going to enjoy it. The stay last night was okay. I mean, the mileage worked out for me just to stay there. The food was really good. Had a soup and then followed by a salad, followed by the entree, which I think I told you I had a bone-in pork chop with some mixed vegetables, and it was really nice. And then they had we got a little strawberry dessert thing at the end, and it was really good. I would say that the overall event lasted a little bit longer than I'd hoped in terms of dinner, but they're serving a lot of people and they're carrying dishes in and out, so I get it. But it started at 7 and it was almost 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. So I was the first one to get up and pay and get out of there so I could get to bed. And then the bed scenario was it was a bunk house, of course, and but it's probably a little different because I was the only hiker in there, and the rest of the bunk was filled with a club. I guess they have a amateur radio operator club or something like that. Maybe they meet twice a year or something up there, and so they were all friends, and they were not in a real hurry to go to bed, so they weren't on the same hours, the same routine as most hikers are. So of course, when I got up this morning at 5 o'clock, I'm sure I probably messed their routine up a little bit too. So overall, it was a good stay. I enjoyed it in that it was just diverse and different, something different, but probably not as relaxing as I'd hoped. I didn't have Wi-Fi. There's some things that you just anticipate you're going to have, you don't have. But I'll probably miss all that tonight, right? So tonight I'm going to a shelter and probably eating ramen noodles. It's gonna be my plan. So overall today so far has been good. Mostly downhill and flat. So that'll all change here in a little bit, and we'll start our way up the hill, and I'm hoping we'll catch a few views on the way up as well. So we'll see about all that. But it's been really quiet. Nobody else out here so far today, and just making miles. All right, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We'll catch you down the path. Got a little view spot. I believe that to be the town of Williamstown, which is we're gonna go through as we head up to the next mountain. I don't know if we actually go through the town. It's more of a bypass, I believe, but I believe that might be what we're looking at. All right. We are going left. Got another 3 miles down to Route 2, which is kind of marks the bottom of the hill. And then we'll start heading up the next hill. All right, everybody, that's where we came from. Turned right on this road, and we made it to the outskirts of Williamstown, Massachusetts. And I got a feeling we're going to do a little road walking. I don't know how far, but I will tell you, there's a couple of key milestones to achieve today. The first one's coming up within the next mile. We've done about 6 miles so far. Between now and the 7th mile, we should be passing the 1,600 mile mark. So that's kind of cool. I look forward to that for sure. And secondly, at mile 1,604, I think it is, we cross into Vermont. So Massachusetts will be in the rear view mirror, and we'll be moving into Vermont here today as well. So pretty cool, pretty neat, and it's nice to be doing a little road walking, given the fact that you know that you're about to climb a mountain. You got to take the good when you get the good. So we'll see y'all a little bit further down the path. I'm gonna just try to pay attention to this trail and make sure I don't miss my turn and end up on Main Street or something. But let me give you a real quick look. Pretty confident that up there's where we're going. Yeah, we got some work to do, y'all. All right, we'll catch up with you a little bit further down the path. Okay, everybody, we've crossed through the town, across the road. Now we're crossing the river. This is the Hoosick River. Hoosick. Very nice view. Now we're headed towards that mountain. All right, everybody, we have officially hit the 1,600 mile mark, but I never did see the mark on the trail anywhere, but I did pass a local and he said, yeah, we're officially at it. So it is what it is. Sometimes you have them, sometimes you don't. We're gonna head on uphill. We got 4 more miles, and we'll be in Vermont. We've just been climbing this hill, following this creek, and I did come across the marker somebody had made for 1600, made them out of acorns. I'm sure that won't last very long. One squirrel or two comes in, it will be they'll change it to something else pretty quickly. So yeah, we're making progress here. Just a fair amount of climbing. I almost lost the trail. Right there it is. You see how you go that way? It looks like you're going on the trail too, but it's not. It is a trail, but it's not the Appalachian Trail. It's warmed up a good bit, y'all. Of course, when I started, I was at much higher elevation, and it didn't take me long to get rid of that jacket and change out of my pants, put on my shorts again, and I feel a little bit better, but I'm sweating, kind of warm. So we will check back with you as we make more progress, probably as we get close to that Vermont line. All right, everybody, this is level, and that's where we're going. Just follow the rocks. We'll get there. All right, folks, right there's where we came from. If you're heading southbound, you'd be saying, welcome to Massachusetts. But we're heading northbound, and we're getting welcome to Vermont. This sign tells you about the Long Trail. It's the Long Trail is it says maintained by the Green Mountain Club, follows the Green Mountain Range for 273 miles north all the way to Canada. White painted blazes mark the trail. Blue blazes mark some side trails. The Appalachian Trail follows the Long Trail for 105 miles. So these two trails run together for 105 miles, and they're marked identically the same. Not a problem, as long as you until you get to that 105 miles, and you got to make sure that you're following the Appalachian Trail versus the Long Trail. But for now, they're going to be marked exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter. And so pretty good. We have made it to another state down. Massachusetts is down, and we are left with Vermont. And Vermont has about it's going to take us a minute, so it's going to be about 150 miles, I think. Let's call it 150 miles. So then after that we run into New Hampshire, and the work really begins. And after that, of course, we'll be in Maine. So we're making good progress for sure. And for today, which is what I'm going to focus on, we've got about 5 miles to the next shelter. So let's keep on pressing on and make it happen. The other thing I tell you about the Long Trail, you might never have heard about the Long Trail. I think it's America's oldest long trail. So when they built the trail 273 miles, Vermont to Canada, they it was recognized as a really long trail. And now today, of course, the Appalachian Trail is almost 2,200 miles. So And Appalachian Trail is not even the longest trail, right? So you still have the Pacific Coast Trail as well as the Continental Divide Trail, both of which are even longer than the Appalachian Trail. So, but at the time that they built it, the Long Trail was the Long Trail, right? So that's the reason it has its name, the Long Trail. A little history for you. The size of this big old boulder just kind of sit down here by itself. Sitting out in the middle of the woods all by itself. Crazy. All right. Well, we're 3.7 miles from the shelter. Not too far at all. Been a good day so far. We got back up here on top of the mountain. The temperature's kind of cooled off a little bit again, and a nice breeze, and it's quite comfortable. So it turned into a pretty good day for hiking. And to be honest with you, started a little rough. I just didn't have the energy or something. I don't know, I just lacked the sleep. Something happened, but once I had a little bit of lunch, I stopped and did the old tuna taco roll up thingy I'd like to do. It had some Doritos and some Gatorade. Things started to perk up a little bit, so I feel pretty good now, and we're making good progress again back to up to the shelter. So off we go. Catch up with you when we get closer. All right, everybody. I have been climbing kind of off and on for the last 2 hours, been mostly on. Most of the afternoon. And I am happy to say, you can actually tell by the trees, see how scrubby these little guys are. We've reached the top of this peak, and there is no higher for today. So there'll be no more climbing today. Yeah, there's probably a little bump here or there that's not showing up on my app, but as far as I can tell, I don't think there's any more to climb. But as you know, we're going to the Seth Warner shelter. It's a new shelter. It's actually a replacement shelter. The old one was torn down. This one's new, and I'm talking, I think hopefully it's finished. If it's finished, it's probably only been a few weeks completed. I can definitely stay there. And the downside about this shelter, I don't know why they picked the location, honestly, because it doesn't have water, and typically all the shelters have water within pretty close proximity. So there is water, 1.2 miles, at least reported water, sketchy water, 1.2 miles before the shelter. So we just passed that place, and there was just a little trickle flow there, and most of the water that you would have to dip up to even retrieve was it wasn't really good looking water, I'll just say that, you know. And for that reason, I did not get any water, but I anticipated that. And 4 miles ago, I came across a really nice stream and completely loaded it up with water. So I've been carrying all the water I can carry for the past 4 miles. And that That makes everything a lot heavier, but that'll be enough to cook with and get me through the evening. And then on the way out, there's like there's another stream. It's like 3/10 of a mile, but it's beyond the shelter. So nobody wants to go beyond the shelter 3/10 of a mile, and then turn around and walk back 3/10 of a mile. So we're not going to have to do that tonight, but I will need to reload on water in the morning when I leave. And when I do, I know that there's a really good source 3/10 of a mile north. So that's all good news. So things are working out, and I look forward to getting to the shelter. I've never stayed at a new shelter before. Honestly, some of them I've stayed at are, 60 years old. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see the design and see the freshness of it all. So we'll check that out here in just a bit. Again, less than a mile now before we get there. All right, everybody, we're still getting closer to the shelter. I know I've been saying that, but I just checked. We're about 0.3 miles away. I want to take the opportunity because I think this particular video will drop on Father's Day. As you know, there's a lag in my videos, so there may be a 2 or 3 day lag. It's really dependent on how much time I spend in the woods and if I have, whether or not I have signal or Wi-Fi, can get a video uploaded. But nevertheless, I believe this video will air on Father's Day. So I want to take the opportunity to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. And particularly to those guys nearest to me in my life, my brother Mike, and also my son-in-law Troy, whom he and my daughter Scarlett have brought us 2 beautiful grandchildren. And of course, most importantly, I want to wish my own dad, Don, a happy Father's Day. I've talked about my mom being my biggest fan. Well, the fact is, both of them will be in front of the TV at 6:01 after the video uploads at 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time to see the latest hiking movie. So I know that they enjoy that. I appreciate their support and daily encouragement. And I say daily because, honestly, my dad, he will call me every day. Every day. Unless I don't have a signal. And I would tell you 99% of the time we have a signal, we're going to talk, usually about 5 o'clock after the day's over. And just to see, he's curious, how many miles I did that day and how many more miles I have in one state. When am I going to pass into a new state? And, just ongoing encouragement. And I appreciate that. I really do. Sometimes I don't have a lot of new information to share. I'm just walking in the woods and nothing really exciting happened. But it's still nice to be able to catch up. So I really do appreciate that. And, I think I've stated it, with other holidays and birthdays and things that I've missed, that's the hardest part about being out here is they're just things that you can't make up. You're going to miss them. And, but he and I talked last night and agreed just as soon as I get back home that we're going to celebrate some Father's Days and birthdays, and we'll take several days making up for time missed in celebration. So just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. Happy Father's Day to my dad, Don. Love you very much. And can't wait to get back home, spend some time. We folks, we have just made it to the brand new Seth Warner shelter. So let me step back on this thing and give you a little bit better view. I just set my bag off. So here you go. We haven't seen one like this for sure. Here you got a metal roof, and you have pine boards on the outside versus, you know, logs. And I still see some ladders and some boards and things underneath, which kind of tells me they're not quite finished. I think this one's going to be set up to house as many as 12 people, which means you're also going to add a loft to this one. And obviously there's no loft yet, so there's probably still some construction going on, but I know I can stay in it. And so yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's a nice thing about a brand new shelter. You don't have to worry too much about mice, right? So this is going to be kind of cool. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be the only one here. I'm not sure. It's probably fairly busy. You know, this is remember, we're also on the long trail, not just the Appalachian Trail, and this shelter is the most southernmost shelter on the long trail. All right, so yeah, if someone's just getting started out, they might stop here for sure, but we'll see how that goes. No big deal. We got plenty of space for everybody. So overall, a really good day today, I think. I mean, lots of climbing. I started the day with a fair amount of downhill as I came off of Mount Greylock, and it was about 5 to 6 miles down, and then about 9 or 10 miles up. And it was a challenge this afternoon, to be honest with you. As you get later in the day, you're losing your energy, and it gets hard to really make a big climb right at the end. But we got it done, so that's great. Probably the highlights of the day were, well, two. One, we covered passed the 1,600 mile mark, which is a good milestone to do. And then the second one is obviously we moved out of Massachusetts and crossed the state line into Vermont, so that's pretty cool as well. So overall, pretty darn good day. No complaints whatsoever. The weather's been great, and it's been a great day for hiking. I appreciate y'all following along, and I appreciate all your comments and your support. And we'll pick it up right here first thing in the morning. Hope everybody has a great evening. We'll talk to you later.